close with it. I don't touch it and tune it and play with it, so I'm just not familiar. So the old stuff, it comes right back to your mind. I cut my teeth on an NC100. Well, no, the first receiver I had was a Allied Radio, Regen, what the heck was that called? They had two Regen receivers. One was a fancier one than the other, Ocean Hopper. Buddy, don't hit your elbow on the desk on an Ocean Hopper when you're on CW. Here's 2 KCs off frequency instantly. And beside that, you can't copy CW on a Regen receiver. I mean, you can't copy your transmitter. You can sort of copy the other station with a warble from the doggone effectivity of your hand near the tubes or near the capacitors. And, you can't bump it. And if you want to end the QSO immediately, just bump the table. Where is he? And then you got to find him. So, you know the route. I'm sure you've been there. But just a lot of interesting things over the years. I'm just very thankful I got to do all that. And I got a Viking 2 after I couldn't take my little homebrew anymore, my Ocean Hopper. I got a Viking 2 and an NC100. I thought I died and went to ham heaven. That was 1957 or 58, I guess. And then all kind of other stuff thereafter. Well, yeah, I got to get going here, too. But it's sure great to talk to you, man. Just great. I know I didn't comment on everything. I probably didn't make enough notes, but sound like you've been around the horn, pal. And you're so active. That's great. That is so good. Just play it out till the banjo string breaks. It's imminent. We're all going to leave this earth. So while you're here, God gave it to you. Make the best of it. And that's what I do. I take every minute. I just wore myself out, literally. And I took what I got and went with it. Anyway, 7-3. Let you get going. And thank you for the QSO. My gosh, we had so much fun just talking about the old days and old equipment, Larry. So back to you, pal. W9SXW0ERE.
Okay, Al. Yeah, real nice chat. Appreciate it. Glad I stumbled across you. Maybe we'll do it again in the future. I hope the old vertical there, the quarter wave, is working. This is a quarter wave vertical and about 125 radials on about 4 inches into the sand. It plays pretty well on 75. It's a high tower is what it is, high gain high tower. Nothing special. But the log periodic on shortwave is 50 kilowatt and a stacked log. So I think it was about 100 foot in the air and tapering down to near the ground. And it covers all the shortwave frequencies. And if I remember right, I think the wire was a number 6 that held it up. And that was right there in Noblesville, Indiana. Didn't really work there much, but I played over there a little bit. Knew the guys that worked there pretty well. And knew some guys over at VOA too, but I got to visit over there in Cincinnati. Didn't know them very well. I mean, I knew the one guy pretty well, but didn't really spend any time there, but I was around it a little bit. All right, Al, I'll say 73s. I'm going to go get me something to drink and toot around the band a little bit more, but I think I need to start thinking about going to bed. Don't have to, but that's probably what I ought to think about doing. We'll see you. 73s. W0ERE. W9SX. Weeki-Wachee, Florida. 73s.
Weeki-Wachee. No, I never heard of Weeki-Wachee. You mentioned that, but if I heard of it, I sure would remember. You mentioned Voice of America. My boy is the station manager. Well, what do they call him? Not station manager. He's in Seoul, South Korea. Okay, he runs the Voice of America system in Seoul, South Korea. Not in radio. He's a personality. I mean, he's on the air, and he takes care of all the business and so forth. He's not an engineer in electronics. But I forget the title. It's not district manager. It's not manager. It's whatever the heck it is. He is. The kid worked himself up playing with tape recorders, pretending he was an announcer. he wound up working for 3 radio stations in the United States. The big one in Kansas City, forget the name, and Chicago, the religious station up there, I can't remember that name either, and some other station, and so he migrated to Seoul, South Korea in his life, and just had a couple babies here in the last couple of years. I got to see him here about last year. It's the first time in 3 years I've seen him. You don't just bop in from Seoul, South Korea. And my other boy's a production man with NBC at 30 Rock. So both those boys like to pretend they were announcers and they were kids with their tape recorders, you know. They both got into radio. So the rest of my kids are all doing real good, but they're the only 2 that are involved in radio in any way. Well, nice to talk to you, buddy. Sure was. Great to talk to you. Finally on that log periodic, well, you say supported by number 6 wire. So I guess, obviously, it's not a rotatable antenna. It's a fixed antenna, and number 6 there ought to do it. It's probably copper weld if you're using wire. I mean, my antenna ain't going to stretch. I'll guarantee you. When that thing comes down, I took it down a couple times to resolder the joints because the wind is terrible on it. And when I did, to put it back up, it's like a slinky. You take it down, it curls up. You can't take number 6 copper weld and lay it flat in the ground. No way. No way. It's got a memory, you know. It's steel, so it's, well, you know what it is. You've been around it. Well, we'll do it again. It was great. And thank you for your time and for all the interesting comments. Beautiful signal, bud. I mean, absolutely perfect signal. So it was another great QSO. And my appreciation and my best regards to you, sir. Take care. W9SX, W0ERE signing.
Tell me there's so.
I think we talked last night, didn't we? Boy, I had a barrage of stations on last night, I think.
Anyway, that is ham radio on shortwave. We see the frequency there on 7130, and it's the lower sideband. We see on the far right number 12. You have to adjust it to get to the correct spot there. We see now it's on 11, now it's on 12. To actually be able to listen to the conversation of the ham radio that is not often not on a straight number, so it's a bit offset on the lower or the upper sidebands. So a radio like this Tecsun 330 that I currently test is really interesting and really good with that sideband, so you can adjust it with a little bit fiddling and a little bit training. Pretty easy and well to get such signals that you could never listen to actually understand with a regular radio that doesn't have the upper and lower sidebands on it. There is still, of course, plenty of radios that doesn't have that feature, but if you look for a radio, I would strongly suggest to check for that feature. It may cost a little bit more, and it's for sure in need of a bit fiddling and a bit training to actually be able to use it relative well, but I say it's well worth it. It's uncertain times still in spring 2024. The world is a bit in a pity, and it's always good to be able to listen to shortwave worldwide. I just did listen to Radio Austria International. Unfortunately, currently pretty leftist channel there. Leftist people that are pretty far on the left side, so that is how that is, but at least we get the radio here in North Georgia, all the way from Austria. On the weekend I did listen to BBC World News all the way from England, and that all over shortwave with a simple long wire antenna. I did already make some video about the long wire antenna, so it's pretty easy to do, and you get quite some results if you set it up a bit on a taller spot. So yeah, it's really interesting to listen what is out there, and that is such a low tech. You don't need any internet, you don't need much electricity. Of course, you need the batteries for the radio be charged, and that's pretty much it. And if you want to have it quiet, you can even use earbuds, and so the surrounding of your location would not even hear anything what you listen to. So that much about this test on the Tecsun 330 on shortwave on the sidebands listening to ham radio.